Hi guys, welcome to Gerhards Glenside. My name is Cheryl and I'll be your host today for Gettin Saucey. I would like to show you guys how to make a beautiful pulled pork. I'm going to make sliders, top it with a nice sweet pickle and a little tangy coleslaw. So I'd like to show you how to prepare it. First thing you'd like to do is buy yourself a pork that has a nice fat content to it, a lot of marbleization. This is where your flavor comes from. So we're going to take that pork. I'm actually going to do two today because we're cooking for a crowd here at Gerhards like we always do. This Saturday, May the 20th, from 11 to 2, you can come down to our living kitchen, join me and the rest of our staff here, and we can do a little tasting, try a little slider, have a little slaw, look around and see how we can make your kitchen into a gorgeous kitchen like this. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get my two meats together and I'm going to make nice deep slices in them. These slices will allow me to incorporate flavor deep into the meat. So, first thing I'm going to do is pat dry my pork. Make sure my knife doesn't slide off of it. So I'm going to go about 3 inches deep if possible. So I'm just going to give it nice slices right over that fat. Now it's your choice how many slices you'd like to make. I like to do about 5 or 6 so I can really get inside that meat. So I'm going to do it on this one as well. Careful of your bones, okay? So now the reason we want to choose a pork with so much fat on top is pork is a very almost lean meat. It doesn't carry a lot of fat. It doesn't retain a lot of fat. So you want to cook it with its fat on. If you do a lean pork, sometimes it comes out dry in your oven. It doesn't exactly have the juiciness and the flavor that you want it to have. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to spin my cutting board around and I'm going to cut down a few cloves of fresh garlic. Garlic and pork go together very well. So I'm going to open up my fresh cloves. Now for each I'd like to take about 4 cloves of garlic. So I have my first 4 cloves here. Now on our first episode of Gettin Saucey, I was making tomato sauce and I was telling you guys how important it was to have a good garlic bowl. So I'm going to go over that once more because I do think it's really important. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the flat side of my knife and give it a nice pat. Crack open that garlic and it'll come right out of its shell. See? Nice and easy. And that's especially important. You don't want to spend all day fooling around with garlic cloves. You want your hands to smell. Oh, another trick. If you would like your hands not to smell like garlic after you are done preparing this fantastic meal for your family, what you're going to do is you're going to use mouthwash to clean your hands, and it will take some of that stench away from you. It's always a good thing, right? We want our pork to smell like garlic, not ourselves. We're getting saucy, not messy, right? So let's start to chop this garlic down. We want to get it. We really want to flatten it out because I want to release the juices of the garlic. I'm going to really go in and make my garlic fine. The finer you chop your garlic, the more flavor you will release from it. And with these big cuts of meat that we're going to cook so slow and low, we really want to incorporate a lot of flavor, okay? So I'm going to get all my garlic together and I'm going to mince it nice and fine. Then I'm going to make like a little paste to go on our pork, okay? So let's chop it all up. Get a nice mince. Then we're going to go ahead and combine it with some olive oil, some salt, pepper, and oregano. You can use fresh oregano, you can use dried oregano, you can use whatever you feel comfortable with. I like to use fresh when available, but if you're going to use dried herbs, it's perfectly fine. They work just as well. You're going to give them a little rub between your fingers, and then you're going to be able to release all those natural flavors, okay? So we got a nice chop on our garlic. We want it nice and small because remember, the smaller the cut, the more flavor it releases. You release those oils from inside that garlic, okay? Now I'm going to get a little bowl. Any bowl you have is perfectly fine. What I'm going to do is I am going to add our garlic, like so. I am also going to add some olive oil. And a little bit of our oregano that we just talked about. Like I said, I have dried today, so I'm going to rub that right between my fingers while I'm adding it to my oil and garlic mix. Now, the olive oil will also help your dried herbs release their real flavors, which is always fantastic, okay? So, next I'm going to season with salt and pepper. A little bit of fresh cracked pepper, okay, right over the top. Again, fresh cracked pepper right over the top of your pork. You want to keep it fat side up. This is coarsely ground sea salt. So now on Gettin Saucey, we love our salt, and I like to be generous with mine, especially when you do long cooking. Salt brings out more of your flavor. Don't be afraid, okay? Don't be afraid of salt. Salt's our friend in the kitchen. All right, so I'm just going to add this with my hands, your best kitchen tools. I am going to add this straight to my pork, and then we can go in the oven. So I'm going to take about half, and I'm going to layer it right on the top, okay? And I'm going to take the other half and layer that straight on the top. And then I'm going to use my hands to push that right inside those slits that we made, okay? Because we want all that yumminess to go through all of our pork. So we're going to rub. I'm going to lift and get everything nice inside there, okay? Same on this one. We're going to season all the way through our cuts of meat. Make sure everything's covered in that olive oil, salt, garlic, pepper, and oregano, okay? Next, we're going to go into our beautiful preheated JennAir oven. It has a digital display and timer so that I can hear it wherever I am. Very helpful. I have it all set. I'm going to grab my big pan. Yeah, I'm going to layer my big pan with a little bit of broth. I feel like I don't want my pork to dry out. So a little bit of homemade broth, stock, from your supermarket, whatever you may pick up is perfectly fine. You just want to add a little liquid. Even a tad bit of water will work. Okay, so let's add some to the pan to make sure it's not dry. Okay, I'm going to take these beauties and I'm going to lay them flat into the pan. Now I have my oven set at 400 degrees. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put these pork shoulders directly into the oven, not covered with foil, because I want to create a nice crust on the top of my pork, okay? So we're going to leave it on 400 degrees for the first hour. Then we're going to turn it back to 325 and let that go for another 2 hours or so, depending on how large your cuts are, okay? So I'm going to open up my oven. Oh, it's all set for me. Careful, make sure you support the bottom of your pan when you have something heavy like a pork, okay? We're going to slide that right inside. Set my timer. And we're all set to go. After the pork has cooked for its allotted amount of time, we're going to take it out. We're going to shred it with 2 forks. We're going to add some delicious, delicious barbecue sauce right over the top, and then we're going to put that shredded pork back into the oven, let the sauce warm up, and then we'll make little sliders for everyone to enjoy. Come back and see me the next time on Gettin Saucey with Cheryl, and we'll create something together at Gerhards Glenside.